a little bit since I've seen something relating to Bill Burr. Now, this isn't necessarily a Bill Burr bit, but it is a video about Bill Burr and I guess his technique and style, kind of similar, I suppose, to the one that I watched a while back about where they were analyzing how he works the mic and stuff like that. I'm not sure if this is done by the same guy, but I was drawn to this because it's about Bill Burr, and the title of the video is How to Express an Unpopular Opinion. I'm not sure if I'm going to see bits and pieces of stuff of his that I have not yet watched. If so, that might be a little spoilery, or if it's going to be mostly things that I've already seen, in which case it won't be spoilery, but I'm curious to find out what this guy's analysis is. The video is a little bit less than 12 minutes long. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it and see what he says.
Bill Burr is one of the most popular comedians alive today, despite having said about 100 things that would get anyone else canceled.
Yeah.
No means no. That's another one. No means no. It's like, no, it doesn't. All right?
This one's on my to-watch
no
list.
No means no. No, that means no. All right, but no, stop it. What are you doing? Oh my God.
Right.
Today we'll go over how Bill manages to say these controversial things without hurting his relationships or popularity. Learning just a few of these.
Well, to be honest, some people do get pissed at him when he made that Saturday Night Live appearance, and some stuff he said just get people annoyed, but whatever. Let's ignore those people, because those people need to be ignored more often than they are, honestly. I feel like they're like a major drain or drag on society. So, okay, sorry, let's get back into it.
Say these controversial things without hurting his relationships or popularity. Learning just a few of these habits will let you go into any conversation with confidence, knowing you can share your opinion without losing people's respect. Also, one quick note, this video is about psychology, not any particular belief. So, if you strongly disagree with anything Bill says in these upcoming clips, then they've been picked well. The first and most obvious thing Bill does is make people laugh. If you can get someone to laugh, they're more likely to be okay with what you said, even if when said differently, they would hate it.
Right,
but how does he get you to laugh while he's saying something you might otherwise disagree with? Here's an example where Bill shares a potentially unpopular opinion. An NFL player hitting his wife would never make him stop watching football.
I was talking to my buddy the other day, like what they would have to do to get me to stop watching. You know, like
you love football. You watch football.
The commissioner could literally punt a baby across his office with his wingtips on. I'm still gonna watch on Sunday.
Bill has a lot of different ways to make people laugh, but one of the easiest is to create a ridiculous mental image.
Right.
Something that catches you off guard and is specific.
Yeah, that reminds me a lot about a lot of Norm Macdonald. I recently watched this long-ass video of compilation of some of his stuff, and the things that he would say were just ridiculous. So ridiculous, things that you normally wouldn't laugh at, but it made you laugh. It's very similar to what Bill Burr does here. You know, this shocking image, and you can't help but laugh because it's so shocking. But of course, if you analyzed it, you know, oh, that's really horrible. But at the same time, it's still funny. So a lot of times when I'm doing reaction videos to comedy, some people get a little bit pissy with me because they're like, lighten up, it's comedy. And I know it's comedy. It is funny. At the same time, there are certain moments where something is expressed that triggers a little thought, not trigger in the bad way trigger, but trigger as in it makes me think of something that I just want to share and talk about. And that's the main reason I do it. It's not because I'm trying to overanalyze or anything like that. It's just something that occurs to me and I just say it. That's it. So don't overanalyze me, in other words. Okay, back to it.
To create a ridiculous mental image, something that catches you off guard and is specific. Here he shares another potentially controversial opinion. He thinks divorce payouts are unfair to the higher earner.
Are you with your girlfriend living in LA?
Yes, I am. I'm technically married, but I'm married how like I want to be married.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't sign that behind the music contract where, you know.
This is before he actually got married.
Until it doesn't work out. Yeah. No, and I love how when you get a divorce, all of a sudden it costs like 50 grand a month to give a kid Fruit Loops.
Right?
Note that specificity. You want to drill down from breakfast to cereal to Fruit Loops, just like he did before with shoes to dress shoes to wingtips. This is a pattern you'll see throughout the video. Here's one more quick example. You can see Conan lose it right when Bill paints a specific over-the-top mental image. For context, Bill is explaining why he thinks it's absurd that most people felt sympathy for Charlize Theron's serial killer in Monster.
Right.
He's a serial killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you saw the Jeffrey Dahmer movie, it wasn't like, somebody shoved a tuna fish sandwich up my ass and I confused people with food. So they didn't make like a big excuse for him. You know? She was a psycho killing people and she should have died. Even when they're murdering people, it's somehow our fault. It's unreal.
Yeah. I mean, Conan.
Why would having a tuna fish sandwich shove up your butt make you want to eat people?
Conan might have pushed back on a genuinely presented argument about society's views of male and female serial killers, but instead he's dying laughing at the absurd specificity of a tuna sandwich in the ass triggering cannibalism.
It is fun.
You can use this trick anytime you want to make someone laugh. The second thing you'll notice Bill does when he's about to cross the PC line is begin by validating the other side. This is called pacing their reality. You partially affirm what they believe before going into your own controversial
Where you kind of
take.
attack it.
For example, here's a bit Bill does about domestic abuse. Before he says anything spicy, he makes it clear it's obviously bad for a man to hit a woman.
How do you not know not to do that shit? Do they really have to keep talking about it? Who it's like wife beaters watching for, now I get it. It's a daisy, sweetheart. Here we go. There you go.
It's only after he's made it clear that he agrees domestic abuse is bad that he goes into his potentially controversial opinion.
So at the end of the hour, they come to the logical conclusion. They're like, there is no reason to hit a woman. There is no reason to hit a woman.
I've seen this one.
And I was just like, really? I could give you like 17 right off the top of my head. Really? No reason? How about this? You marry a girl, you fall in love, you buy her a house. You go to work every day, paying off the house. You come home one day, she's banging the next door neighbor, hands you divorce papers. You got to move out, sleep on a futon, and still pay for that house that she's going to stay in. No reason. I'm not saying you should do it, but there's plenty of fucking reasons in that arc of a story.
After sharing his
The way he
unpopular
swaggers
opinion that it doesn't justify it, but there are reasons it happened, he circles back and addresses the most likely objection to his view, then extends an olive branch to meet on common ground.
Look, I realize I'm coming off pretty ignorant right about now. I realize that. Let me extend an olive branch then, okay? I realize that there's some animal guys out there, okay? Horrible guys, you know, have a rough day at the factory, come home, tuna casserole, and just start swinging. All right?
What is it with tuna?
I realize
Bill
they
Burr.
exist. They should be buried underneath the prison, okay? So if I can admit that, ladies, can you at least admit that every ass kicking doesn't just fall out of the fucking sky?
A lot of
So to
people
recap,
will not admit
validate
that.
the other side where you can. Voice your own unpopular opinion, address the most common objection, and then try to end on common ground. This will allow people to agree with your unpopular opinion without feeling like they need to change any of their high-level values. Now, that was all done during a stand-up comedy special, but in the flow of a back-and-forth conversation, you don't have to do all four at once. You can...
I wonder if Bill, when he was coming up with these sorts of things, if he... So this guy's... Oh, somebody coming in the house? So this guy's really studying Bill's technique, right? And I wonder if Bill, when he came up with this, if he just kind of inherently knew how to make this type of argument or approach in his bits, or if he actually studied things like psychology to figure out the best way to get a joke across or something like that. I'm just curious. Some people just kind of know that that's the way you try to present an argument to something. And some people, maybe they have to dig a little bit to figure out what's a good way to express an opinion about something. I don't know.
But in the flow of a back and forth conversation, you don't have to do all four at once. You can start with just the first two steps and let the other person raise their objections before you try to meet on common ground. For example, here's Bill discussing the Me Too catchphrase, believe women, with Conan.
It's like that, believe women. It's like
Hate
all
that
of them.
phrase. No.
How about 85%? I'll give you 87%, all right?
Again, he starts by validating the other side. Yes, most women should be believed. Then he gives his non-PC take that all...
I wouldn't even necessarily say most, you guys. I think you just, honestly, I think you have to take it on a situation by situation basis. If you say most women should be believed, then you're acting like most of the time everything they say is true. And that's not necessarily the case, because there have been plenty of situations where they've either outright lied or they've exaggerated the situation. So I think in pretty much any sort of in any sort of situation anyway, not just specific to women and what they claim, you have to sort of just see on an individual basis, how do things pan out? Because if you say, oh, we have to believe most women or believe all women, then you are putting, it's no different than having the backwards mentality that white people are inherently racist or whatever, because that's just wrong. That's not true. So when you say something like you have to believe all women, then you're saying that everything that a woman says is true, and that's not true either. So you just have to take people as individuals and situations as individual situations and judge from there or discern things from there. I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand, but it seems to be really tricky. I think because probably it's a really good political sort of hot button trigger type of sort of issue or tribalistic type of thing that gets people going. Levi, you just got down. Now you want to get back up again. Hold on a minute. Come on. Oh my gosh. Come on, Levi. Come on. Come on. All right. All right. Turn around. Turn around. Now I got to check my camera and see if it even has me in the picture still or if I'm all the way somewhere off to the side.
How about 85%? I'll give you 87%. All right?
Again, he starts by validating the other side. Yes, most women should be believed. Then he gives his non-PC take that all is going too far.
But that last 13% that keys your car, lights it on fire, and puts a family pet in a pot of stew.
Who put a pet in a pot of stew?
Glenn Close.
Oh, that.
The fear most people have in sharing an unpopular opinion is that it will make people like them less. This is because people often interpret an opinion that's the opposite of one they hold as a direct attack on their beliefs and therefore their identity. Bill has 2 easy habits you can steal to help soften that feeling of being attacked. The first is acknowledge you're not an expert. Bill's a stand-up comedian, and so when he goes on these talk shows...
That's the thing, too. A lot of people try to put on you the expectation that if you're not an expert in whatever, or if you've never experienced whatever, you should therefore never have an opinion about whatever. And I know that a lot of times if you don't have specific knowledge or understanding of certain things, maybe your opinion might not be fully informed, but a lot of times opinions that people have are based on just common sense. And when you try to shut people up from sharing their opinion about a certain whatever, it's just a way to try to silence people from speaking out against something that maybe there's something wrong going on. And it's just kind of a way to silence the opposing side. That's the way it comes across to me.
It's often with a bit that he's thought through quite a lot, but he makes it clear he's not an expert and he could be wrong.
We're all gonna get replaced by like robots. That's what I think, like eventually.
You think we're all going to be replaced by robots?
Yeah. According to my YouTube and Wikipedia research.
I'm not going to sit here with no medical degree, listening to you with no medical degree, with an American flag behind you, smoking a cigar, acting like we know what's up better than the CDC.
No, I'm just saying that
Oh, but sometimes the CDC is influenced by political stuff and money. See, that's the tricky thing, right? Because, yeah, you have, medical professionals and all this, but to act like they are the complete arbiter of everything when it comes to that type of stuff, it's a little bit tricky because there has been corruption that's gone on within medical communities, and there's been a history of that sort of stuff. And one thing that really started to make me very cynical about the medical community in general, it doesn't mean I feel that way about everything, but one thing that really tipped me over the edge to becoming someone that didn't just inherently believe everything we were force-fed by the media when it comes to medical stuff or the CDC or whatever, was the topic of circumcision. infant circumcision, to be more specific. Something that's so blatantly medically unethical and such a blatant violation of human rights and religious freedom too. If it's done for religious purposes, it's a violation of the child's religious freedom. I know all the arguments on the other side, and it doesn't matter. I mean, these are just, to me, they're the fundamentals. And if you've got medical communities that are actually advocating or trying to push this, actually no medical organization in the world officially recommends it, but a lot of them really do try to push it because it's so ingrained and it's a big money maker in a lot of ways for doctors. And so the fact that they can completely ignore their code of ethics when it comes to something like that tells me that there's other times they can do it too. So I don't necessarily inherently trust everything we're told just because they say it. I mean, look at the way the whole stuff has been going on with the past year and a half and all the back and forth and the misrepresentations and the misinformation or confusing communication. And it just, I see why people don't trust stuff that we're told. I mean, it feels so much more obvious to me than ever before, just in so many things, not just medical stuff, but just the media in general, news and all that mess. Here I am getting on my soapbox.
Degree, listening to you with no medical degree, with an American flag behind you, smoking a cigar, acting like we know what's up better than the CDC.
No, I'm just saying that I was on, the internet, and I was reading that a lot of the money just goes into their pockets. So I was like, all right, I want to agree with that and say that that's true, and then repeat it on a talk show.
On the flip side, you have conspiracy theorists, and I know, conspiracy theory, sometimes there's actual validity to it, but then on the other side, you've got people that they have decided that this is the way it is with conspiracy stuff and everything, and corruption is every single place they can look, and they have decided a certain thing, and that even when you present them actual facts that you can show to them, of course, you can only, you take what's being given to you, right? Let's say reports or studies or whatever. And studies can sometimes be manipulated. See, that's the tricky thing I'm telling you about science. Sometimes studies are manipulated. The data is not, the studies are either conducted not in a very good way, or the data that they present to you, it's been not accurately described. So there's just so much gray area for people. I get why people do go off and just on this completely other side and don't believe anything. Everything is a conspiracy. I get why people resort to that type of thinking.
People often mirror each other in conversation. So if you acknowledge you're not an expert, it's much easier for the people around you to do the same. The second thing you can do is verbalize if you see the other person getting uncomfortable. It shows you're socially aware and tuned into their reaction. For example, here's a clip where Bill is describing a lesbian he saw.
Even like the hard hat and like that surveyor thing. You feel it now. They're getting like all like they're backing off. Like, is he saying there's something wrong? I'm saying no. She was dressed ridiculous. The woman who happened to be a lesbian, it was funny the way she was dressed. Gee, I'm going to be washed up in 6 months.
Here's another with Conan. You can see things are a little bit uncomfortable, but after he calls it out, it releases the tension and gets a big laugh.
Always working on me. Like my wife is some completed work, It's just like, when's the light going to, shine on you? Uh-huh. This crowd has hated me for 3 minutes.
You probably noticed Bill often pairs this with some type of self-deprecating humor, which works well because he's a comedian and his goal is to make people laugh.
Yeah.
In your own life, you can go that route, or you can simply say something like, hey, I can tell this is starting to be uncomfortable.
I'm just trying to I'm just trying to figure out, what is this movie here with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman? I guess I could look it up, but he's interspersing this with clips from things, and I get curious as to what those certain scenes are from.
In your own life, you can go that route, or you can simply say something like, hey, I can tell this is starting to be uncomfortable for you. That wasn't my intent. Do you want to just move on to another topic? Whether they do or don't, it will help your relationship and help the conversation go well if they see you prioritize the relationship over making your point. It shows your goal is to discuss an idea, not fight a person. This ties directly into a mindset Bill has. He's willing to back off an opinion. For example, watch him talk with Conan about the Joe Biden photo controversy. He gets the classic Bill Burr anger at first, but by the end, he makes it clear this isn't actually an opinion he's going to fight you over.
He just looks like he's posing, and people are like, oh, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Why is his hand there? Did he just sniff her? It's like, how bored are you? This is why nobody of any reasonable, decent human being is going to run for president. It's the millennials. You're a bunch of rats. All you're doing is trying to get people in trouble.
So it's the millennials that are making it impossible for anyone to run for president right now.
I don't know what it is. Like, I don't have
You
a
just
problem.
said that's what it was.
Yeah, he did. He did declare that
a long time ago.
a few minutes ago.
This can be hard to do while talking about
Oh my
triggering
gosh.
topics, but if you can keep it in mind, it will be fantastic for your happiness and the quality of your relationships. Now, one thing we were going to touch on today was Bill's hilarious use of anger. After all, Rolling Stone did dub him
Was
the
that
king
him?
of rage
He
comedy.
looks so young
But Bill
there.
seems to think his anger is more of a curse than a blessing.
That was brutal. I don't want to be this guy, you know? I'm halfway through my life at this age, you know, and I've been an angry son of a bitch, and I got to turn this around, man. I'm embarrassed with I don't want to be that guy. You die as the angry guy? That's the worst dude to die in.
You got all of this shit that you're sitting on. So you're sitting on all that and you haven't addressed it. So then the only way for the steam to come out is like for you to snap or whatever. So, which is really not fair to the people around you.
That last part is true of carrying around repressed anger, sadness, or anxiety. It hurts your relationships with
I
other
listened to
people
that
and your
one,
ability to
that
be happy
podcast.
and to achieve your full potential. If that resonates with you and you want to learn how to release your anger, sadness, or anxiety, you might be interested in our course, Emotional Mastery.
Going ahead to, I stopped it because the last part of it was an ad for some sort of course that they're selling, which didn't really completely have to do with, it did in an offhand way, sort of. No, it does. But I was just trying to focus on the stuff about Bill Burr. So I don't think this is the same channel that did the stuff about him and the way he managed the mic. I think that was a channel that was maybe more specifically dedicated to comedians. And this channel, I don't remember the name of it, but obviously, as always, I will put the video down in the description of this video. This channel seems to be more about psychology and stuff like that, which is interesting. I find that interesting. He was linking, or I don't know if it was he or whoever was doing this video, whoever was editing the video had linked different videos that they have that pertain to stuff that is related to psychology. So that's the theme of this channel. It's not the same as the other one, but this was still interesting nevertheless. And I like that he went through and kind of gave you these different sort of step-by-step, these are the transitions Bill would make. Didn't necessarily use all of them, or you don't necessarily have to use all of them when you're trying to express an unpopular opinion. But of course, the subject matter is Bill Burr. Well, the subject matter is how to express an unpopular opinion, but he used Bill Burr to make his point, which I thought was excellent. And I enjoyed this entire video. Some of the stuff that it did show in here are things that I have seen, and some it's things that I have not seen. So there have been a little bit of spoiler stuff, but not overly so, because he wasn't showing a whole lot of clips each time to make his point. But this was quite interesting, and I might check out more of his stuff if he incorporates this type of, a similar type of way to get his message across by using different comedians, or let's say movies or whatever. I'm going to have to check out more of his stuff. This was the first video of from this channel that I've seen. Like I said, I don't even remember the name of the channel, but this was cool. And I don't have anything else to add to it. I've already stopped it. I already stopped it a lot and, chatted about different things as they occurred to me. But yeah, I like this. So that's about all I can think to say now. I'm going to pull the plug on it. Later, guys.